Hey guys, welcome to the ELP Current Ed podcast number 2, and our topics and subtopics today is skinnies and choir and the new scheduling with that, Branstad summer schedule and what he decided to do with that, and the block schedule in general, pros and cons and alternatives, all those things. So, a bunch of scheduling issues today. I'm Halle.
And I'm Holly.
And welcome. So our first topic here is skinnies and choir. So we're both involved with choir, and this applied to anyone who was in like band and orchestra as well, and anyone who was in music, because since the music scheduling this year was that you had your music class for 45 minutes and then a skinny class for 45 minutes or another music class for 45 minutes, and that took up first block. And I didn't have a problem with the schedule.
I actually quite loved it because, especially since I had math as a skinny, I feel like that was a good thing.
Yeah, because then you'd have math the entire year, and since I'm horrible at math, it really helped me out because then
everything was a lot smoother.
Yeah, and I didn't
more time.
I didn't end up falling behind, because with math, if you fall behind, you're behind for the rest of the year.
Yep.
And that's that. So I really did like the skinnies, but was it around the middle of third quarter that they told us this, or was it the beginning of second semester?
I thought it was the beginning of like fourth quarter, maybe. No, I think it was earlier
than that.
quarter.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Our choir teacher told our class that they were removing the system of skinnies and choirs, and they were just removing all the skinnies because they said that there were not enough kids, signing up for other classes because there were so many signing up for the skinnies, or vice versa. I'm not entirely sure.
It was the other way around, because they were saying that in skinnies, there were, smaller class sizes.
Yeah.
Our math class, we have,
15 kids.
15? Yeah. And the normal class size is somewhere around 30. And
Less
so
than
they were
that.
saying that was a
Somewhere
problem.
around there.
Yeah.
So, it was a problem, I guess. And they changed it, and of course we needed to come up with a compromise and a whole alternative for how we were going to run choir, because if you could take choir and then you just had study hall, that meant for a lot of kids that you had to take early bird, which is not delightful, I don't think, just because
I'm an early bird, and early bird is not delightful. Just saying.
Okay.
Anyway.
But, so then they came up with this compromise saying that instead of skinnies and choir, we're going to have PE for a semester, except switch off the days. So you'll have choir one day and then PE the next day.
And they do that for band right now, currently?
Yeah, they only did have it for band. And
now it's for all the music.
For all music, which, being a very involved person in music, I don't know how it's going to work out, but this is kind of how it was in middle school. We had PE every other day. Except
I feel like it's a really good idea. It was I was really bummed about skinnies being gone at first, because I'm no. But I actually kind of like the idea of having a block of choir and then switching off between choir and gym. Mm-hmm. I feel like that could get confusing, but we did it in middle school and it worked fine.
Yeah, and unfortunately I was going to take Algebra 2 skinny next year, but then I couldn't, and now I may struggle in that class, I'm not sure, but
yeah,
it was yeah, but now I'm thinking that this new schedule might work out. I don't like the idea of having PE for an entire semester rather than a quarter, just because I don't like PE. And I would rather
take
have
anything over early bird is all I'm saying. As long as I have PE during the actual school day, I'm fine.
Yeah, honestly. So
I feel like it was a creative and bold choice though for the school to make. Just be no skinnies anymore. It was a shock for me because at first they said that then you have to take a study hall.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of that.
That's what really caused a lot of uproar, was because they were saying if you're in choir that you had to take a study hall, and
that goofs your
don't
schedule.
ever want to take a study hall because I want to get as many credits as I can.
Yeah.
So that was a big problem for me. So I liked that they made this an alternative, you know?
Yeah, it, honestly, although it was a stressful maybe 2 weeks while this was all getting figured out, I can say that the decision we came to was a really good decision.
Yes, definitely.
But I can't decide whether the old part of it or the old scheduling or the new scheduling is better. And I guess we'll have to see until next year.
I feel like I definitely, though, at first I was really confused about the decision of taking away skinnies, but I kind of, like, understand their side, because they were smaller class sizes, and that does cause problems.
Mm-hmm. It could, yeah. I could see how it could cause problems.
Because especially for, like, our class, you know, our math class, we have a small class size, plus most of the kids in our class don't, like, try, so that leads to only having, like, 3 of us who are actually participating.
Yeah.
And that's probably, well, on the other hand, if you had some of the class that wasn't working, you still had a lot of other people that could still contribute to the class.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess there's not that much on that we need to go on. But our next topic, this is going to be great, is Governor Terry Branstad's ideas on summer scheduling and how that was going to be organized for the 2015-16 year. So if you are unaware on that whole debate with the Department of Education and everyone else, pretty much, what happened was that Governor Terry Branstad said that we could no longer automatically grant waivers to districts that request an early start to the school year, which is what we, as Bettendorf School District, have been doing for, like, decades. And so, in 1983, the state law requires schools to begin no sooner than the day, which is September, right?
Mm-hmm.
No sooner than September 1st.
Yep.
So then you could get waivers, which is kind of technically just kind of passing the law, I guess, like just not following the law, but still technically being legal, you know? And there was a lot of controversy just because this caused many problems with AP class scheduling and breaks and the new hour system and all of that stuff. So,
and that's why we've just been getting the waiver.
Yeah, and that's because, you know, that was most ideal for AP classes and
just for the
students.
School in general.
And, yeah. So there was a lot of controversy, and we just want to talk about that and kind of get a perspective from the students, you know, because I feel like the students should be listened to because it's affecting our future and people who work at school and their future as well.
Yeah.
You know.
So what had happened was that, like, that was the law, and we had been getting the waiver, but then, like, currently, I don't know when they first decided to make this decision, where they, like, made it,
December
where the
12th is when they talked to the Iowa Department of Education.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And that's when they decided that they were no longer going to be, like, freely giving out these waivers. And pretty much just, like, not even giving out the waivers at all. I don't know if a school's even been given one now.
Yeah. So this is the article that we found from SpencerDailyReporter.com, and it talks about kind of what Branstad had said, what other people on the issue had said, and this is from Branstad to Brad Buck, the education director of the the director of the Iowa Department of Education, and he says these are some of the reasons why he doesn't want those waivers to be passed out anymore, so schools start no earlier than September 1st. So this is a quote from Branstad in a letter. Frustration is growing because of the exceedingly early school start dates some school districts set. Start dates range from August 11th to September 2nd this year. And he also says, early to mid-August starts unnecessarily interfered with the summer plans of families, and they did nothing to improve the quality of education. Which I disagree with.
Which everyone disagrees with, pretty much.
Well, not everyone, but I strongly disagree with this, and I assume you do as well, Holly.
Yeah.
And the reason for this is because, specifically going back to when he says that August starts unnecessarily interfere with the summer plans of families, mostly referring to the Iowa State Fair.
Never have I once been to the Iowa State Fair.
And never have I prioritized,
a summer activity before school.
Yeah.
In general. Not just the state fair, but anything. If school starts and I have a summer thing that's gonna go into that start date, it's like, that's not first.
Yeah,
that's
I do not prefer
priority.
to prioritize recreation over my education.
My education is more important, and that's in every context. So why should this be the exception of that?
Yeah. So then when he sends this letter to Brad Buck, he responds by informing the school's officials across the state that they will no longer be automatically granting waivers to allow early school starts, and we have to plan accordingly, which then causes a huge blow-up, and everyone is fired up and angry, and yeah.
Ugh.
So, one of the arguments for it was, for every day a school starts before Labor Day, Dickinson County, this is coming from in Okoboji Tourism's Karina Woodward. This is what they said, that for every school starts before Labor Day, Dickinson County alone loses $11 million in revenue.
1 million.
Oh, 1 million.
That's still
Excuse
a big
me.
number.
Excuse me. So, as you can imagine, adding 2 weeks to our summer season is going to increase business for everyone. For everyone?
Okay, here's my problem with this. Here's my problem. Is that in this statement, they're saying that what's more important is the state's economy over the education of our young people. And I disagree with that. I feel like education should be top priority, and this whole thing, why saying that we should do this, is because money in our economy is more important than education.
Yeah.
And no. Just no.
Your economy might be working out right now, and it's already working out just fine with this schedule that we have been using for the past 3 decades. And this is your future. These are your future kids. They should be getting their education in the most ideal way.
If you want, like, a good economy, like, you want to educate the young people. So by doing this, that's not helping at all. That's not helping the economy.
Yeah. You're going to have to excuse me for a minute. There is someone at my door, but we will be right back. Sorry about that. We are back. Where were we? So we were talking about...
We were talking about economy over education.
Which should not be happening.
Yes.
Frankly. So, then later they go to, in this article, to Spirit Lake Superintendent David Smith, who is kind of undecided, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he says, if having schools start later creates more revenue and more tax dollars for the state of Iowa, and those dollars could be used to enhance Iowa and hopefully education, then we're certainly in favor of it. Never mind, he is not undecided. I was wrong. Yeah, this just kind of emphasizes what we just previously stated, that I did not agree with the idea of economy over education. So, although economy is important for education and everything else to run smoothly, it's already running smoothly enough that it doesn't need to be improved.
I feel like they're just looking to improve something and fix something that doesn't need to be fixed.
And is in favor of a different group of people rather than students.
Yeah. Yeah.
And being students, of course, I wouldn't agree with that, just from a student perspective. And... oh, this is where they talk about AP classes. So, we believe that this could cause issues with the high school students being successful in these post-secondary classes, which are AP classes and etc. We would prefer to start the K-12 school year before or at the least the same time that the colleges begin classes. So, I believe that is from Superintendent of Gratinger, Terrell / Ruthven Ayrshire. Superintendent Andrew Woywood says this.
So basically what that's saying is that with this new, not really new, but with the enforcement of this law, what would happen is that, so first of all, AP tests, they happen during a week, and that week is the same for the whole nation. Okay? Yeah. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
So they can't change this week.
Yeah.
But in the changing of this schedule, that means that those AP students with AP classes that are either year-long or second semester, that means that they're going to have to take their test, like, in the middle of what should be their instruction, like, in the middle of the semester.
Yeah, so they'll know less material in less time to
Not
prepare
even less material.
for an AP.
They don't know half the material. They have to learn half the material outside of class. Or they have to rush everything in that one quarter. I mean, that's ridiculous.
And that is not an ideal way to teach students.
From someone that's taken an AP class, it's like, if I had to shove everything into one quarter, I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is not okay.
And AP classes means college credits, right?
Yeah.
That means our future.
And this is going to cause so many problems, just for, like, everything. Because that causes the students, they'll do, like, worse on the AP exams, which causes, like, the school's standing in, like, AP charts to plummet. And this is just going to
has repercussions. These are repercussions that are not caused by students. That is causing their future to have more negative consequences than they would if this did not happen.
It's just, this is one thing where it's just, like,
she's very passionate.
AP students do, like, they work so hard, and making them work, like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I mean, to have a student have to learn half the material outside of class. I mean, are you kidding me?
Like teenagers are already stressed out.
And they have other classes, too. It's like, while I'm taking this AP class, I have to learn half the material. I have to learn twice the material outside of class. Plus, I have honors chemistry or honors algebra 2 or whatever else you're taking on top of that, plus extracurriculars. Oh, you're in a sport? Well, look, now you have to do all this extra stuff too. I mean, that sounds crazy to me.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
No matter what someone says, there is no denying that students are held to high expectations, and those expectations often stress us out.
Yes.
And this is just putting even more of an expectation on us.
And even more stress added with that.
Exactly.
And one argument that's been brought up is also by saying that this change is only affecting a small percentage. Saying that those AP students are the only one affected. And that's not true.
Those AP students are your future government.
Yeah, but that's also not true. Like, there are other reasons other than the AP why this is terrible. Do you have another one, Halle?
Like, if a student decides to drop out, and I'm going to be really real here. If a student decides to drop out, there is very much a little chance of them being in a governmental position.
Or just being successful at all.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, like, high school dropouts, it's like you have...
And are the high school dropouts the ones who are taking AP classes? No.
No.
Are the high school dropouts the ones that this is affecting? No. So where do you want your future to be? Who do you want in these government positions? Who do you want controlling your government? Who do you want making important decisions for you?
AP students.
Exactly.
And how are those AP students supposed to succeed on their AP exams if they have to learn half the material outside of class?
And their chances of getting into a better college or a more ideal college
credit, anything like that, that's causing so many problems.
Decreased because of this decision.
I mean, my AP teacher, when we were talking about, like, all of the AP exams and how much college credit, it's like, you can pretty much, from getting a good score on an AP exam, like, you can get college credit for that, which is about, like, $5,000 was the figure that she gave us. Like, around that, you're saving $5,000. Now, students who are having to learn this outside of class, they're going to do more poor on this test, which means that they are, like, less likely to get college credit.
Yeah.
So that means that they're not saving $5,000.
Yeah, this is important. This is not even long-term, like, repercussions. This is short-term. We have 3 years left in this high school.
This is, like,
Yeah.
I mean, really,
good descriptions.
To describe it in a sound, it's
just,
like, really?
Okay. So, moving on from that topic, well, actually, not moving on from that topic, I want to talk about some of the quotes from our own school students. And they say, from So this is all talking about AP courses. And someone here says it's... Was it Archie Wendrick?
Yes.
A senior here, right now, says that he doesn't want to see his younger peers struggle from a loss in preparation. And he also says that he would rather not prepare in a shorter time because he knows that AP classes are hard to prepare for, like, for the test. And I would agree with that. And he is a student here at Bettendorf, just like us. And this is something that we're saying. And I hope that people are listening.
Yeah.
You know. So, the next issue or aspect of this whole controversy is the late start will make schedules much tighter for all schools with very few breaks, which is a true thing.
Yeah.
And it also says it will be very hard to develop. Well, who's saying this? Okoboji Superintendent Gary Jansen says this, and says it will be very hard to develop a calendar with 1,080 hours for kids that starts on August 31st and ends before June 1st, and also contains built-in professional development time for staff. We're also considering the staff here.
Mm-hmm. This isn't just students.
Yeah. Having a schedule that requires schools to play football and volleyball games before their first day of school and having a semester test after Christmas break also doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
Which I would very much agree with.
The thing with semester tests after Christmas break, here's what I do on winter break. It's after finals. Like, finals are really stressful. I mean, every
Finals
student
are
would
very
say that.
stressful.
Every student that is trying hard and, like, finals are stressful. And here's the thing with that, is that the thing that's great about winter break is that, like, after your finals, it's a time to de-stress.
Yeah,
but having finals after Christmas break, after winter break, means that winter break you're just gonna be studying and stressing out and freaking out and not relaxing. Not doing what you should be doing on winter break, which is enjoying the holiday season with your family. No. Instead, you're gonna be studying. I mean, we already have homework and projects to work on over winter break.
Which
just
has happened.
Finals happening after it. It's like, Oh, no, that is not okay at all.
If
not
you
okay.
are studying through your entire winter break, or you're not studying at all through your entire winter break, you are not going to do well in your finals.
I mean,
and then you might fail the class. You might. You just might.
All of these things are going to be lowering our school's standings, like, in the nation and on Iowa, just lowering things. You know, we've been, like, a great school, you know, we're high up on things, we're good in things, but having this means that we're gonna fall down in academic scores.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
That's not
that
good.
means less school funding. That means just less everything.
I just honestly don't see much of a positive consequence to this for students.
Yeah.
And
the students are the one that's going to be affected by this. Students and staff.
Yeah.
And what they're thinking about is like, oh, economy comes before all of this.
Which is,
you know,
like,
we're the ones, we're the future. I'm the future. You're the future. Students are the future. And you're just doing this thing that's obviously making school
going to
harder
affect
for
the
us,
future negatively.
more stressed for us. I mean, it's like being someone that, like, gets really anxious easily and, like, panics over things and gets stressed about everything. Like, this just sounds like a nightmare. I mean, next year I'm going to be coming into school crying every day, pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, really. That's an exaggeration.
That's a little dramatic,
but still, it's just like, this is going to make things so much stressful. Like,
so much more stressful, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, everything is, no.
Yeah, okay, I mean, concluding this whole thing here, I would rather prioritize education in the future over economy and summer fun time. So that's basically our conclusion here, where we think that there are a lot of negatives to students, not very many positives, but rather it's kind of just switching the favors over to economics rather than education, which is unfortunate in my opinion. And we also wanted to mention at the very end of this article, Woodward, which we mentioned earlier, says that we're really looking forward to working together with everybody, which is kind of a flat-out lie.
Scoffs. I mean,
they did very...
You're not looking forward to
I mean,
working
just
together.
at least with
You're
the students, there are not very many... There's not very many people listening to the students, where I think it matters the most.
I mean, oh my goodness.
And whether you decide to listen to that or not, I mean,
we use, like, our school started using the hashtag #LetBetChoose, you know? And, like, trying to get some attention with that. We got no attention. I literally, like, tweeted at Terry Branstad, you know? I'm like, hey, listen to us, you know, dude? And nothing. They just ignored us. Like, they're not looking forward. Oh, my goodness.
This is a very... So, yeah, that's basically the controversy, and I don't know where it stands now. I think
I know our standing. Right now, we've made the calendar for next year, and, like, we can't change it, like, now.
So we are starting in September.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate.
Well, end of August.
End of August?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm
upset.
But I'm not going to let this die. Like, I don't want to keep this through high school. I want this to change.
You know, maybe it can go on for 1 year, but this is not good for us, and this shouldn't be happening.
I don't want this.
So that's basically where we stand on this. Thank you. Moving on to our third subtopic is the block schedule, which I don't really have a problem with, but...
Yeah. Here's something happy to talk about. Great transition.
I praise the block schedule. Literally, it's so much better than having 8 45-minute periods a day. You have no idea.
I like to share a little story. Okay. So,
go ahead.
Like, we've had the block schedule, obviously, in high school. And so I went to visit another high school earlier this year. And they have, like, the 8-period schedule and everything. Mm-hmm. And just saying, like, I forgot how that schedule works. So, like, when I got there... It's like we were in that class, and then we were gone in, like, a second. Literally. That's what it felt like. It was crazy to go back to doing that. So I just appreciate the block schedule, because I felt like I couldn't get anything done in that short amount of time.
Yeah. Having 90 minutes, I mean, the only negative thing is that people with short attention spans have a harder time sitting in a classroom for 90 minutes.
That is a con to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, it'd be kind of cool if they had, like, 5-minute breaks.
Yeah.
Throughout the block, and you just had to go back in.
That would be nice. That's a good idea.
Thank you.
We should
came
talk to the school. Let's bring that to the school, man. Yeah. RSVP will take that.
Yeah.
I'm going to absorb that idea.
So that's an alternative to maybe some of the block schedule, having 5-minute breaks in between. And that would also give you that 5-minute break for being on your iPad, like that we talked about in the previous podcast.
Mm-hmm. You could do multiple things. Like, that also would, like, lessen students leaving class, like, to go to the bathroom and stuff.
And then, like, just stay out
you'd
the
have more quality instruction time.
You really would.
I mean, really, now that
let's get on this.
I love this idea. There we go. We're taking this, man.
Okay, let's do it. So that's an alternative. So some of the pros, I really like how, after your instruction time is up, you have a short amount of time to maybe do your work or get more instruction time.
Or anything like that.
Or
like,
if you have a question to ask your teacher, you can ask it in class, and there's not, like, okay, we need to get this done, you can't ask questions right now.
It just seems like everything's more chill, and we just have more time to do things. Like, in different classes, like, especially in English, like, when we're reading books, we'll spend, like, the first half of the class, you know, talking about what we read, and then she'll be like, now you have time to do tomorrow's reading, or, like, tonight's reading, you know? And I just find that, like, really, really effective. Like, that's a good idea, man.
Yeah, and another pro is that, instead of having 8 different worksheets of homework a day, you have 4, which is nice.
I like that. Definitely a plus.
The only problem with it is, like, and I suppose you could change this with your counselor if I really did want to, but, like, last semester I had honors American History, honors Biology, honors English, and then math and choir. Which is not the most ideal schedule, I would think, for anyone, just because it's so stressful to have honors quality homework every day.
Yeah, but like what you said is that you can change things like that.
Yeah, so and I just suppose I just didn't take the initiative to change it.
Our counselors are good with that, while having us, like, be able to, you know, balance everything.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate when things turn out that way. Like, I mean, I definitely know next year that if that happens again, I'm going to go into my counselor and tell them, hey, this is what happened last year, and I'm not okay with it. So, yeah. But definitely, it's way chill just having 4 classes a day, little homework. Yeah. It's nice.
One thing that I really like appreciate about block scheduling is like when you're working on a project in a class, it means you actually like have time to actually get something done with the project.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember especially last year with like science projects and like labs in science,
Yeah.
It's like
It would take like 2 weeks to get one project done.
Yeah, when you get into there, like to your class for a lab, you have to do it like quickly. You have to get everything ready like right away, you know? But when you have like labs in high school and when you have projects in science in high school, it's like you can take time, you know? You're not rushing. Right.
And honestly, I would think that this makes it easier to succeed in classrooms and get A's and, you know, definitely higher grades. I mean, if you're putting in the effort, this extra time and this more instruction time is definitely giving you an advantage towards an A, you know?
Yeah, and I think with, like, history classes, I've also seen, like, because in history you usually have, like, lectures, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And while it would take, like, 2 or 3 days with, like, the period scheduling to finish a lecture, it's like you can get a lecture done in 1 day, and that's good. I like that.
Yeah. So alternatives, we already mentioned the
5-minute break.
5-minute break thing, which I like, at least. And then some different alternatives.
There's nothing else I really want to change.
Maybe 75-minute classes, 6 periods a day. I don't like that. 2 periods a day? Ooh.
That'd be terrible. I'm just saying. What if you had, like, math or, like, not just math, because I don't like math, but other people who do would like this. But, like, your 2 least favorite classes, that would be terrible.
Yeah, you just have, like,
Ugh.
That would be really bad.
Just saying, not good. Let's not do that. That is not an alternative.
Now, I kind of wish that the entire nation would switch to block schedule, just because I feel like that'd eliminate a lot of confusion.
The school that I was talking to that I visited, I'm like, what are the perks to period scheduling? And they're like, I don't even know. You know, because it's like, really, what are the perks?
Nothing.
There's just, like, not really anything now that I've seen the light. It's like, there's no going back, man.
Yeah.
We're keeping this.
Block schedule, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, to conclude this podcast, we talked about Skinnies and Choir, which have been resolved for the most part. Branstad's summer schedule, which has not been resolved at all, and I would really appreciate it if it were. And then block schedule, which has been a really good thing, and I think we should continue to improve it and continue to look at it, because it's honestly something real great for our school.
So, yeah. This was an emotional podcast.
It was a very emotional podcast. Anyway, so, announcements, I guess. If you liked this podcast, please leave a comment or a like.
Yeah.
And our last podcast was actually quite successful in views, so we thank you for that. And if you want to hear more, please let us know. And if you'd like us to carry it past this semester, which I'm doing this podcast for a class this semester, then I'd definitely love to hear that, and we could definitely do something about it. So, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in the next podcast.